What's up, everybody? Dr. Jacques Moser here, and I wanted to talk to you real quick about homeostasis and how we don't want to necessarily go based off of symptomatology whenever we're trying to get you healthy and well. So one of the things that have been popping up, both in research and some things that have been coming across with some of my patients, is a lot of us get focused on the cause and effect of certain symptomatology. And so if we treat you as wellness way doctors or as chiropractors, as symptom-based practitioners, we're only going to be able to get you the results that only your medical doctors can get you. And realistically, they can give you a medication to suppress a symptom far faster and far more effectively than we could with whether it's an adjustment or a holistic herb. So we first have to understand, hey, plug it down. First, we have to understand why that symptom came up to begin with. So what we want to do is we want to do an in-depth analysis of where that symptomatology came from. All right, now if you've had a toxic diet for a very long period of time, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, and you're having these symptomatologies happening all day, every day, it's not going to be a quick pivot 180 and you start feeling amazing the next day. It can sometimes take time, especially when we're dealing with subluxations in the spine. If we've had them there for a long period of time, we have an issue called arthritis or degenerative disc disease that takes place, and what it's going to do is cause more irritation in that joint. So what the analogy that I use with my patients is like if you have a hinge that hasn't moved for a long period of time, it starts to get rusty. So that rust starts to cause that hinge to not be able to move properly, and in doing so there's going to be an increased amount of friction. That increased amount of friction is going to cause more degeneration, it's going to cause more arthritis, it's going to cause more bone or calcification or degeneration to take place in that joint, so you'll start getting bone spurs. So what can happen is if we have a rusty hinge or a rusty neck, if you will, and we start to open that back up, we start to get motion back in there, you're still going to have some of that rust, you're still going to have some of that inflammation because those bones, they just aren't used to moving the way that they're supposed to, right? It's a common thing that happens, but it's not a normal thing that happens. So we want to make sure, even from a very young age, I still adjusted Hoyt when he was still attached to my wife after he was born. We have to make sure we get after these symptomatologies far faster than we have been up to this point. That's why we keep getting sicker and sicker every single year. Unless you're doing something to be proactive, we're basically in the hands of our medical doctors, and they're not doing a very good job of being able to keep us healthy. If you don't believe me, look at the statistics on it. So what I wanted to go over was homeostasis as well. It might be a term that you've heard of before, maybe it's not, but basically homeostasis is like this in-between function that your body is kind of in control. And you can have two polar opposites. You can go too much and too little, and then all of a sudden you want to basically recalibrate and go right back to normal. So that's how our body maintains health, is being in that normal homeostatic function. But knowing that our body can also shift and it be a normal symptomatology is something that's very important. Our bodies are meant to adapt to certain stressors that we put upon ourselves, whether that's poor posture, poor diet, eating our food allergies, lack of exercise, lack of movement in general. What that can do is cause our body to shift too far into one direction. Now our body's trained to bring us back, but if we keep doing the same thing all day, every day, and we keep having the same symptomatology and we don't know where it's coming from, what happens is we get stuck on these polar extremes. We don't want to be there because if we're too high or we're too low, our body is not able to maintain normal homeostasis. So our body then presents with a disease. So what can happen is sometimes we can go from way over here to way over here, and our bodies are just constantly in this up and down, and we lose track of what is actually causing us to be healthy. So the biggest thing we want to do is keep trucking forward, so that way we know whether it's getting adjusted, again, avoiding your food allergies, we're keeping the joints moving, the bones moving, and then our body ultimately can be able to function at a much higher level than it currently is. So we don't want to necessarily get stuck on that homeostasis or that lack of homeostasis, because it's ultimately our body adapting to normal stressors in life. And without that, we wouldn't be able to survive. So if we're also chasing symptoms, the way that I kind of look at this, I'm all about analogies. It's like being a whack-a-mole doctor. So we have those games where those moles pop up and you're constantly trying to whack them down, boom, boom. So you're constantly throwing medications or herbs at certain symptoms. If we get stuck in that trend, ultimately we're altering the body chemistry, that body physiology, and we're telling our body what to do instead of allowing our body to adapt to stresses under normal pretenses. So that's why we like a lot of adaptogens. It helps our bodies to be able to adapt to those stresses just more efficiently. So don't be a whack-a-mole doctor. Don't say, I have this condition, what can you give me for it? Well, let's find out why you're in that condition, and then let's help to support your body to compensate for those stresses that you're putting upon yourself. All right, so the other thing that we talk about is referral pain. So we can have pain that starts up here, and all of a sudden we have some symptomatology down to the arms and the hands. Well, we feel like we have a hand issue or an arm issue, but that's not necessarily the case. If it's starting from here, we can have the referral pain where it goes down and goes to a different area of the body where it draws our attention to this. And if we treated this in a normal medical pretense, we would have carpal tunnel. If we treat carpal tunnel, we come down here, we slice this guy open so that way our carpal tunnel can breathe. If it was never a carpal tunnel issue, it was a neck issue, guess what's going to happen? Boom, next hand is going to have the same exact symptomatology happen, or you'll still have the same symptomatology in that same hand. So don't get stuck, again, treating those symptoms based off of where you think that the pain is. So what else do I have here? All right, the last thing that I wanted to talk about is remember that all of your actions, all of your decisions have consequences. I'm going to stop there for a second. So whether you're moving towards health or moving towards disease, you're always moving in one direction or another. So if we're moving and we're in this direction, we're going healthy, our bodies are functioning better, it's used to having proper food, proper nutrition come into our lives, and all of a sudden, boom, we stub our toe and we throw some trash into our body, what's going to happen? Our body isn't going to know what to do with it. It's going to shift into a polar opposite of that homeostasis. You're going to have symptoms. You're going to be like, where the hell do these symptoms come from? I've been healthy for 10 days. I had 1 day off and now I feel like this? Yes, because your body is a fine-tuned machine. And yes, it does kind of work sometimes like a machine. So we have to make sure we respect that and keep on that same path. Otherwise, we're going to be trying to figure out, oh, I have a headache today. Where did that come from? Oh, I have this today. Don't chase your symptoms. Trust your body's ability to be able to heal. It's a phenomenal thing. Our bodies are absolutely amazing. And if we keep getting stressed out about the symptoms that we keep presenting with, we're going to keep chasing those symptoms. And then you might as well just go to a medical doctor because they'll give you a medication and then they'll give you a medication for the medication because you get side effects from the medication and your dog chasing its tail the entire time. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. So, long story short on this, guys, symptoms are a normal occurrence of the body. All it is like a fire alarm going off. It lets our bodies know that under the current state of stress, our body is trying to adapt to it. So what is the smartest thing to do? Just even if you didn't come into the office, what's the smartest thing to do? Look for that cause and effect. Did we eat poorly? Did we not sleep well? Did we have certain stressors that broke us down? Trust your body's ability to be able to adapt. Give it a couple days to go through those symptoms because we can go through ebbs and flows with symptomatology. And once you get on that other side, you can be like, you know what? I feel awesome. My body was able to adapt to that current stress. Plus, you're less stressed trying to figure out where the heck your symptom came from. So that's my little 2 cents for today. Thanks for tuning in. Donna, you're always on here. Kathy, thanks for tuning in there too. Like and share our page too, guys. We're going to start doing some more video content. So if you want something to be talked about, something to be discussed, let me know. Later on this week, we're going to be talking about the importance of pre-workout nutrition and post-workout nutrition with Raul Haichu, which is going to be an awesome webinar or shared Facebook Live. So that being said, have a beautiful day. Take care and thanks for tuning in, everyone.